I'm trying to be as much as I can with myself, but the mind has a tendency of slipping. And then and I bring it back. Is there anything you can suggest or help so that it just stays constant?
So question is that while I meditate, I'm able to be with myself. But the waking state, when I'm active, do things, then mind runs away. I have to bring back and runs away. So how to keep the mind with myself when I'm doing activities? Is that the question? Right. So then, by values. The value of, as I said, kindness or compassion or goodness, because that is yourself. So keeping the mind in a kind mode or a compassionate mode or a contributor mode is almost, it amounts to keeping the mind with the self. You follow? So while we are doing things, it is not possible to withdraw the mind from activity because then you can't function. So while we are doing things, we have to pay attention to what we are doing. Now, how can that be compatible to being with myself when we are doing it with kindness or the values that we are taught? That's the way to be with ourselves while doing things. Meaning, following values that Karma Yoga teaches us, being a Karma Yogi. Like when you invoke from yourself that kind self, so that's when you are with yourself. So when you invoke the kind self, so whatever you do, try to do as a kind self, or a compassionate self, or an understanding self. So that's how you are with yourself, or the mind is with the self.
It is okay when you're doing the activities because you're with the activities. When you have a pause for a while, you can stay in your being, but then sometimes it sort of drifts, so you bring it back.
So now you're talking about meditation.
No. And the waking state. No.
Waking state. So when you're not doing activity, then what?
So like you try and be with yourself.
Then you're trying to meditate.
But in the waking state,
Yeah, meditation is always in the waking state. So, right. So when you're not doing things, then you work with your mind, and again you give the mind a certain object of meditation. So a good way of trying to keep the mind focused is to give the mind a focus or meditation upon something that it likes to think of. So give the mind a subject which it likes to think of. Associate with Ishvara in one way or the other, or the self in one way or the other. And then bring the mind back to that, Depends on if you like a certain deity like Lord Krishna, etc. That can be your object of meditation. It depends on one's culture and one's upbringing. But that is why we are given these different symbols or pratikas for meditation. Because meditation upon that is something that mind would like to do. Mind generally wants to do what it likes to do. It will not do what I like to do. It wants to do what it likes to do. So what we do is we give him an occupation that it likes to do. Now for that we have to create some liking in the mind by training the mind. That's why exposing the mind to, suppose Lord Krishna is your Ishta Devata, then making the mind listen to his glories and learn more and more about that, and so that mind develops a liking for that. So liking in the mind is an important factor for meditation. If it is not there, then it becomes a constant struggle, of course. But then you can still do. That mind runs away, bring it back. If it is nice, then take some japa or something like that, which is an object of meditation. So you can bring the mind back to that. So some kind of a focus the mind should be given. By its habit, it may get distracted, you bring it back. If what you are bringing back is something that the mind likes, it's better. Doesn't have that, doesn't, still you can do that. So you say Om Namah Shivaya, again Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. So give it some object upon which it can focus, so you can bring it back to that object. Done. That's all right. Okay.